Welcome to Your Cyber Path, the podcast that helps you get your dream cybersecurity job by sharing the secrets of experienced hiring managers and top cybersecurity professionals with you. Now, on to the show.
The other thing I thought was interesting is, I didn't hear you say once college in there, right? I hear so many people who are like, hey, I want to make a switch into cybersecurity. I'm going to quit my job and go to college for 4 years and rack up $200,000 in student loans. And like, that's just not the way to do it, right? I like the way you did it, where you kind of slowly chipped away at it over time. You figured out what worked. You started your networking. You made connections. And then when you were ready and you had the tech behind you because you had now passed your EJPT, you were able to go and move into that type of a role. And then the third thing that I thought was really interesting is, you mentioned you were a single father with 4 kids. So your time was at a premium. And, I have a lot of students that I teach all different certifications. And some of them are very short certifications, like ITIL Foundation. That's normally a 2-day course. Like most people can find 2 days. But if you're trying to go and become a pen tester, it's generally going to take 3, 6, 9 months because there's just so much to learn. And even if you're doing something like the Pentest Plus exam or CEH, that's usually going to be 30 to 60 days. If you're doing OSCP, it's kind of like a 90-day if you have nothing else in your life going on, but you have a full-time job, you have kids, you have, probably other commitments and volunteering work in your area. And it's one of those things that, if you wanted enough, you found the time to do it, but it took you a little longer because you had to do it a little bit at a time as you were working towards those things. So I thought that was really interesting as well. The other thing I wanted to bring up is you mentioned OSCP and EJPT. Those usually are kind of higher up in the pen testing world because they're more hands-on certifications, as opposed to something like CEH or Pentest Plus. Is there a reason that you didn't go for CEH or Pentest Plus first and jumped right into one of those?
So I had talked to people in the industry, and it seemed that the ones that were more technically focused were the certifications were more well regarded. Kind of like you alluded to, I've only got so much time to do this.
Yeah.
I could go get the alphabet soup of everything, but what's going to serve me best? And so it seemed like the technical ones, like EJPT, OSCP, that I was seeing the most in job description and seemed to be most valued by people I talked to.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's one of the things I always tell the audience is when you're thinking about what certification to get, it's not about collecting the alphabet soup, like he said, right? Like, yeah, you can go out and get your A plus, your network plus, your security plus, your CISA plus, your pentest plus, your CAS plus, your CISP, your CISM, and all that stuff. And you can look up and you have 20, 30 certifications, but then are you really answering the mail on what employers are looking for? And so what I always like to do is, say, hey, I'm in this region. Let me see what other employers in this region are asking for. And I know that you're in the Charlotte metro area, which is kind of apt because that's kind of one of those big banking and tech centers. And so I think, having your bank background, and there's a lot of banks and tech in that area, probably helped as well. But if you were looking there versus looking in, I don't know, Tokyo, they're going to ask for different things. And so depending on where you live in the country or in the world, it's important to look at what's important. And just because EJPT worked for Chris doesn't mean it's going to work for you, the listening audience, depending on where you are. So always pull those job postings and say, what am I seeing as the recommended or required certifications? And generally what I see for pen testing is they usually want CEH or Pentest Plus for an entry-level role, and then they want EJPT kind of for mid-level roles and OSCP as you go higher up for the higher level roles. But that's just kind of where I've seen things. And so depending on where you're trying to go and where you're trying to break in, picking the right certification is going to matter.